Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Today in the news, Catholic Vote launches $9.7 million campaign against Joe Biden. A group of Catholic voters on Wednesday, the 16th, launched a $9.7 million campaign against Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden. In a statement on Tuesday, the group Catholic Vote called out Biden's record on religious issues by stating it's clear he will not protect their values. The group specifically cited the former vice president's stance in favor of abortion, as well as his record on education and religious liberties. As a part of its effort against Joe Biden's campaign, Catholic Vote is launching a digital and campaign in swing states ahead of November's election. This includes states like Pennsylvania and Michigan. We now have full-time staff, they say, in 6 states and over 2,000 community captains representing unique Catholic parishes across these states, and thousands of volunteers. Catholic Vote plans to reach over 5 million active Catholics in the battleground states during this election cycle. So Joe Biden, the Catholics are not too happy with you, and neither am I, but this Kamala Harris has came out and said clearly that she's your running mate. She's come out and said very clearly that she intends to increase and make it easier for women to have their choice for abortions, killing more and more babies. Haven't we killed enough babies in this country? We've killed too many. And it should have never even happened in the first place. Even the person who started it, the woman who represents Roe versus Wade, even she became a believer in Christ and tried to fight against it. Of course, they shut her up as best they could. I'm not sure exactly what her fate was. But anyway, let's move on. Donald Trump tweeted today, Democrats are heartless. They don't want to give stimulus payments to people who desperately need the money. And whose fault it was not that plague that came from China. Go for the much higher numbers, Republicans. It's all comes back to the USA anyway, one way or another. So what he's pretty much saying is they don't care. It's not about that. They want to end America as we know it right now, and they really don't care about any of this other stuff involving the stimulus. They definitely don't care about passing your stimulus package, but we do have some exciting news, and I'm sure you may have already heard of it, but you want to get my take on it in a few minutes. But in another story, the New York City mayor has said that he is going to furlough himself and nearly 500 staff members. So that's your solution. Put people out of work and put them on unemployment. Boy, what a wonderful thing the Democrat Party is trying to do. Oh, man. New York City's mayor and all of his staff will be furloughed without pay in an effort to recover from the pandemic. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. It has to do with them destroying your city, Antifa and BLM. Starting October 1st, Mayor Bill de Blasio and his office of nearly 500 workers will go without pay for 1 week. I'm announcing that as of October 1st, he says, every mayor's office employee will be taking furlough, stated the mayor. That obviously includes myself. Yeah, give me a break, like you worried about it. The furloughs will be spread out from then and through March of next year. The move is intended to close the gap created by major revenue losses during the pandemic. Look, Mr. de Blasio, this is foolishness. If you would open up your cities and stop messing around, the numbers have already gone down in New York. Yet you Democrats continue to keep your cities closed down, hurting your workers there, hurting the small businesses and even the larger businesses. New York looks like a ghost town in Manhattan right now because of your poor management of the government there in New York City. He goes on to say the folks who work here throughout this crisis, they have been working 80 to 90 and 100 hours a week because they believe in this city. And they've been fighting for all of you, stated Diblaso. So it is with pain that I say they and their families will lose a week's pay. Now he's going to cause them to lose a week's pay. I already got the whole city shut down. This was a statement made of New York governor, city of New York, September 16. The furloughs are projected to save about $1 million. Wow. De Blasio has said he's hopeful that this will be a beneficial first step in recovering the city budget. And quotes on to say, he added, this is a step you never want to see for good, hard-working people. Yeah, what about all the other hard-working people in the city that have been furloughed and been let go off their jobs because of your restrictions on and workers in your city? And also in all the other major Democrat cities around this country. Well, this is David Colbert, and you're watching The Black Conservative Voice. We'll be right back with you in a moment.
Dr. Melinda Morris supports a strong economy, safe neighborhoods, limited property taxes, and promotes an improved education system. Dr. Melinda Morris wants to improve access and insurance coverage for medical care. Dr. Morris is pro-life and will support right-to-life legislation in Austin. Dr. Morris will remain true to her values when she is elected to office. She is going to Austin to promote life, prosperity, and personal freedom for the constituents of Senate District 13.
Welcome back. You're watching The Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. On yesterday, I told you a little statement about Miss Nancy Pelosi that there was a petition put out by Gregory McCarthy to bring her down, to get her out of office. That is a petition. At that time, I didn't announce the amount. They were looking for 150,000 names, and they've already gotten 144,000. At 145,000 at the time of me reading that. You think they made their number? I'm pretty sure they made it and probably exceeded it. But now is the time to get past all this garbage that's been going on in the House of Representatives. Right now, they realize, and as I'll tell you in a minute, you probably already know, maybe you've seen it in the news, maybe not, because they probably want to cover this type of thing up. But the Democrats themselves are getting tired of Nancy Pelosi and her reactions to the things that need to be bought out in the House of Representatives. They're getting sick and tired of her delaying things. Now here we are, what did I tell you before? At the last minute, now trying to create a stopgap measure to reopen the government and to offer stimulus packages to the American people who have suffered. And I'm one of those who suffered as well. But the thing is, will it get done? This is the other thing. But in my advice to the Democrat Party, and those of you who didn't go along with these recent ones, as we will be reading in a minute, you better get along. You better get on the train. Because if you don't get on the train, you might be standing on a bus stop looking for a ticket back home for Washington next term. Because I know that the American people are sick and tired of you putting off support for them just to fund your Democrat-controlled cities, trying to repair their cities, which they've damaged themselves through peaceful demonstrations. Yeah, give me a break. Peaceful protests, what a big lie. And now Biden's coming out, and he's going along with it saying, oh, it's violent. But you see what the Catholics think about Joe Biden. And really, to tell you the truth, I was brought up in the Catholic Church, so I'm kind of on their side in regard to this, because this is pure foolishness. They want to kill more babies. They want to make you go to their failing public schools. They don't want you to go to private schools, Catholic schools, any other school that's outside of the public school system that they want to take control of through taxpayers' dollars to destroy our children's minds through these twisted educational subjects that they want to push. They want to push all these things about same-sex marriage, all these things that they want to push. They want to push that abortion is okay, that evolution is the truth, which is a big lie. God created the heavens and the earth, not some Big Bang bull crap. It's a bunch of garbage, and they need to get off that mess. You keep believing that mess, wait till the end, you'll see. Okay, we're going to go into another story here today. As I said, moderate Democrats pressure Pelosi, House leadership, to move new coronavirus bill, stating, "Stop the stupidity." I want to say that again. Stop the stupidity, Nancy Pelosi. Moderate Democrats, especially those in swing districts, have been pressuring House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to pass another coronavirus relief bill, signaling that blaming the Senate Republicans and the White House for the inaction isn't flying back home with their constituents. Who knew that would help or knew that wouldn't be the case? The people know what is going on. You got a stubborn old 80-year-old that needs to get her butt out and retire. That woman is wealthier than a lot of the millionaires that we have in this country. Get her out of here. She doesn't need us paying her with our taxpayer dollars and holding up Congress when they need to pass legislation to help the American people. One of the boldest efforts of revolt came Tuesday when the bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus revealed their $1.5 trillion coronavirus relief plan, with 25 Democrats leading the way, breaking with their leadership and joining 25 Republicans on a compromise plan. Nancy, I advise you go along with this, or you have been a big, big problem when it comes November. You're going to be in a problem anyway, but your people in there, even the LBGT, you're ignoring what's going on with them. The media is blocking out a lot of things that even going on in some other nations where those people are being killed. And I know some were talking recently about that. That people, transgender, different people who are have a different lifestyle are actually being put to death in some countries of certain nations. I'm not going to mention who, but you know, those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about. Representative Max Rose, Democrat from New York, was among the backers of the plan and said his frustration with leadership failure to make a deal pales in comparison to the frustration of his constituents. What did I tell you? The American people are tired of this crap. His constituents need help, and they need it now. And this is in New York City. It's been 4 months since the House passed its $3 trillion HEROES Act, which died in a GOP-led Senate, and now Rose and fellow frontline Democrats have been urging House leadership to put another bill on the floor that could actually become law. So that's where it says, stop the stupidity, Nancy. The pressure is loud and forthright, and it is bipartisan in nature, Rose told Fox News, of the urging on both GOP, Democratic, and leadership to move a real bill, because that pressure is reflected of where the American people are. They are sick and tired of playing politics, Representative Max Rhodes said, Democrat from New York. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you in a moment here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert.
If Joe Biden gets elected, we can kiss goodbye to the economy that we've been enjoying. He's going to raise taxes. He's already said that.
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
I'm a small business owner. The last thing I need is more regulation and more taxes. I feel very confident in President Trump's ability to get our economy back to where it was, and even better. Before the pandemic, our economy was the best it had ever been, the best in the world. If Donald Trump stays president, my outlook for the future is incredibly optimistic. It's limitless.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. He went on to say to the leadership, we said, this very simple message. It's time for you to stop playing games. Let's stop the charade. Let's stop this stupidity. Let's put the country first. Amen. Put the American people first. The problem solvers effort was designed to break the logjam on stalled coronavirus talks between Pelosi and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, and the White House. Instead, it met with unified resistance from Pelosi and her leadership team. In a rare move, all 8 major Democratic committee chairs put out a joint statement Tuesday rejecting the bipartisan plan. So they're still doing this garbage. American people, I'm telling you, get on your phones, bug those darn Democrat Congress people and tell them they need to pass this bill, especially these idiots in the head of these committees that are still saying it falls short of what's needed to save lives and boost the economy. It's garbage. The only thing they're worried about is covering the damage for Democrat cities that continue for the longest time, for over 100 days, stating that there were peaceful protests going on in their cities while their cities were being torn apart. A National Democrat source said the move by problem solvers, caucus Democrats, undermined Pelosi's negotiating position in trying to secure a robust coronavirus deal. Why are we trying to... What are you talking about, a deal? What about the American people? You don't care about the American people. All you care about is making a deal that's going to look good on helping the city, the Democrat cities. This stuff is foolish. The Problem Solvers Caucus put Democrats in disarray and clearly undermined Schumer and Pelosi in such important negotiations, the source told Fox News. Let me tell you something. What do you hear here? I don't know if you heard what I said. Heard this now. They're not doing it of their own fruition. They're doing it for their constituents. They're trying to save face and keep their jobs in Congress. It is not the Democrat Congress people or senators that are putting this plan forward. It is the American people. And once again, Nancy Pelosi and her foolish leaders are trying to come out against a bipartisan effort. What kind of foolishness is this? The House of Representatives is supposed to be a bipartisan body, not somebody fighting against each other all the time and the partisan way getting, just like you're saying with this sham impeachment. How can you even pass an impeachment through the Congress and all this wasted time they did in the last year? How can you pass it through if it's not bipartisan? It was bipartisan with President Clinton, but here we are, all partisan, and this is the way Nancy Pelosi wants to keep it. And she's already said she's not going to budge on any deal. Well, we're going to take a short break right now, and we'll be right back up in a minute to finish up this report. My name is David Colbert, and you're watching the Black Conservative Voice.
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
What does that mean for you? More taxes taken out of your paycheck. Higher gas prices at the pump and utility bills at home. Skyrocketing medical bills. You'll compete with illegal immigrants to keep your job. An economy in ruins. President Trump is bringing jobs back. Historic gains. 10.6 million new jobs in 4 months. President Trump fixed our economy before. He's doing it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. He went on to say that statement is highly unusual. The source continued about swift condemnation from Democratic chairs. It shows how worried the Democratic leadership is that Pelosi is being undercut. They need to cut her butt right out of the House of Representatives. They should have never placed her old behind in the seat there. She's too old. She's too out of touch with what's going on in this country anyway. To me, that's the way I feel. She is of the rich elite in this country, and she has no idea what it means to go out and work a 9 to 5 and make money. How many of y'all can take a month's vacation or fool around on your job and not get fired? How many of you can? I know I can't. I can't just mess around and not do my job and expect to have a job when I come to work. None of us can. But Nancy Pelosi's still sitting there, and she's spending your money on foolishness. We better get out here and vote in November and vote the Democratic leadership out of our office. We better do it, else this country is going to pot. Democrats took control of the House in 2018 thanks to flipping some 40 seats from red to blue. Those frontline members fighting for another term in office have been among the most outspoken about wanting a deal. Well, can you blame them? Do they want to be cut off? They got what they want too. They got all the things that they want. But yet you guys are keeping the American people from getting what they need. What is this foolishness? We shouldn't be talking about anything else except getting stimulus funds to the American people. America first. Listen to President Trump. America first. He even said that they could take the $300 billion that he had set aside that wasn't given out on the last stimulus plan and give it to the people now. But did they agree with that? If they had agreed with that and just put out a bill, they can argue whatever the heck they want. At least the American people will get what they need. And a lot of these people, constituents, need it. And guess what? Come November, a lot of them will be on the outs. Representative Abigail Spanberger, a Problem Solver Caucus member who opposed the $3 trillion bill in May and flipped a GOP district, criticized Pelosi's resistance to a smaller coronavirus package. What the House put forward months ago isn't moving forward, she said. Spanberger, Democrat from Virginia, said an urging for a different approach. Other moderate Democrats like Representative Stephanie Murphy, Democrat from Florida, said members are starting to push the leadership to do something. You are seeing a level of anxiety rise within the members for there to be a deal, Murphy said, for there to be a progress toward getting the deal done. And hopefully, with that increased pressure, we will start to see negotiations start anew and start moving our way toward that end. And we need to take care of the American people first. I don't care if you do nothing else with all the rest of the garbage. You need to take care of the constituents that vote your behind into office. Feeling the concern from members, Pelosi told her caucus on conference call Tuesday that she plans to keep the House in session until a deal is reached on a coronavirus relief proposal. One Democrat on the call confirmed that those in close races were really pressuring Pelosi to get something done. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, of Democrat from Maryland, later clarified that the commitment meant House leadership would stay in Washington and would call members back within 24 hours for a vote if there is an agreement. Rose said the commitment for Pelosi shouldn't be hailed as a breakthrough or newsworthy. This should just be how business is done in our nation's capital, as with the fight for or to the American people, said Rose, who is a competitive race for his district Staten Island and Brooklyn. We should not stop until we put another bill on the floor of the Congress. And then, quite frankly, we've got to send the message to Mitch McConnell that he's got to do his job. And he used a bad word there, but if they had been doing their job in the House of Representatives, Mitch McConnell would not have held the bill up in the Senate. The garbage you sent to him wasn't right. And I appreciate Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky, because he is doing his job. I don't know about you. So we're not going to even go into that garbage. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of California, joined by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in New York, speaks to the media on Capitol Hill on Wednesday, early on August 5th. This is way back. House Nancy Pelosi of California said in that gathering, President Trump also appeared to give the GOP a green light for higher spending. The highest offer on paper Senate Republicans had made so far was a $1 trillion package in July, and it failed to advance. So that's why we're coming forth with this $1.5 trillion package. And I would suggest that the Democrats in the House of Representatives pass the bill, put it on the floor for a vote, and they need to get the bill passed. This foolishness has gone too long. Nancy Pelosi, if you want to still be in the House of Representatives, along with your other cohorts that are in leadership there, you better get going. You better get going and come up with a bill. We're very close to November 3rd. Very close. Extremely close as far as votes and people go, because in October, early voting begins. Some early voting has already begun. President Trump also appeared to give GOP a green light for higher spending. The highest offer on paper Senate was $1 trillion, we said. Go for the much higher numbers, Republicans. It all comes back to the USA anyway, Trump tweeted. Trump said also in a news conference today that yes, he has no problem with a little higher number, but he's not going to be bailing out Democrat cities who did not take care of their cities during the pandemic, nor during these riots that they were calling peaceful protests. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm voting Republican in the November 3rd elections. Well, once again, we come down to the end of our program. I want to thank you for joining me here on the Black Conservative Voice. Please get out and vote in November for your Republican candidate you want to see in office. People, I'm telling you the truth. If you want to see any real movement in your areas where you're at, get behind the president, push him forward, and he will push his candidates, his people that are elected to office, to do things for the American people in the cities around the country that are red cities or red states. Now, he'll push them in other states as well. But if you got Republicans in there, of course, they're going to try to move along the Republican Party what their desire is. Once again, I want to give you the opportunity to invest in this program. And as we're going forward, I said yesterday that we're starting to have at least 15 to 22,000 viewers per episode, upwards to 200,000. So if you want your business, your small business to be advertised anywhere in the nation, we're all over. We're in 37 states at this particular time, and we're getting ready to become on cable TV in the Dallas and Fort Worth area, also in the Houston area. So if you want to join us and move it forward with the bold vision of Black Conservative Voice here on the CTM News Network, please join us. Our sponsorships are very small. The payments for spots, these are commercial spots, 30-second spots, and I guarantee you they are the cheapest spots around. I know what they are and I know what they cost. So please go to that email at the bottom of the screen and come on and join us as we move forward into 2021. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us here at the Black Conservative Voice. My name is David Colbert, and I want to say what I always like to say. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert saying good night.